Alrighty, this is a wig tutorial. So this is what you'll need. You'll need a mesh dome cap, as you guys can see here. And then you'll need some pre-threaded needles. I have about 12 of them. This will make the process faster for your wig making process. And then this is the closure, the hair that I used. As you guys could see, this is a closure here, and this is the 4x4 free part, and it's 12 inches. All right, and this is the natural color. It's 100% Virgin Brazilian hair. It's natural curly, natural color Virgin Brazilian hair. One closure with the 3 pieces. Okay, I'm reading it off the website, okay, you guys, because I forgot what it was, but that's okay. And I did bleach the knots. I didn't pluck anything. All right, and this is the canvas blockhead that I use. Please do not judge. Okay, all right, because I used glue a long time ago and it didn't work. And this is how I place the mesh dome cap on, and this is what it should look like, the closure should look like while it is on the mesh dome cap. Okay, as you guys can see here, put it kind of like over the band, if you will. All right, so now we're going to get to the sewing part. Now, you guys have seen this plenty of times, and if you haven't, I'm going to show it again. I'm basically going to sew through, not through the band, but through you see the cloth part of the band. All right, because if you sew through the band itself along with the cloth part, your wig will not be stretchable, and it will not be able to fit properly the way it's supposed to, and you're basically probably going to have to make your wig over again unless you do some type of alterations or that case. So just be careful when you're around the band area, as you guys see. All right, then after that, the rest of the cap is mesh, so you don't have to worry about it because there's no type of band material there. So basically I am sewing right on the edge of where I believe it has like a thick part of the closure part, and so I basically start from one side and go ahead onto the other side. And I also have T-pins on there so that the closure does not move around. So you want to make sure that you have the closure taut so it will not be bunching up, and this is why I use the T-pins, because it helps guide and it helps keep the closure in place as I am sewing, and it also keeps you organized. But if you cannot do that, or if you don't have any T-pins, just please try to you could use the sewing needle itself and try to stick it in there, kind of improvise if you cannot find any T-pins in your local BSS, your local beauty supply store. And that's just basically about that. I just like a lot of organization, and I don't want it bunching up, so it's highly recommended that you do get T-pins to hold the closure down as you're sewing. And as you're sewing, you're moving it right along and keeping the closure taut in the same way. And taut means, tight. If you guys don't know, I know y'all probably like, what? A lot of people don't know that, but yeah, so I like to say that, and that speaks about that. But yeah, so just make sure that you are just being kind of particular about it. Now I'm very particular about my sewing because especially if you're making it for a client and not just for yourself, but when you're doing practice, just make sure, even if you're practicing and doing it for yourself, you want to make sure that your sewing is down packed. You want to make sure that you have it down packed, because most of the clients are going to have to wash these wigs, and you want to make sure that when they wash these wigs, it does not unravel or anything in the case. So make sure that your sewing skills are up to par. So the more practice you do, the better you get at it. So I just want to let you guys know that just continue to practice. Practice makes perfect. Nobody is perfect, but you want to get it close to perfect if you can, because like I said before, if you're making this for a client or for a friend or for somebody to try on or try out or whatever the case is, or you're just making it for somebody just for free, whatever the case is, you want to make sure that your sewing technique is down, because once again, clients are going to wash the wig, and at one point in time you're gonna have to wash the wig, because that's just sanitary, if you will. You know what I mean? So yeah, you don't want to walk around with a dirty wig. You're putting products in it, then you got your hair, whatever the case is. So you want to make sure that the sewing is like intact, because you don't want anything unraveling. That's very embarrassing. And this is just simple. I say it's simple because I do it all the time, so sorry about that, but it is basically kind of self-explanatory. And I'm basically, sewing close together because I want to make sure that the closure stays on. And make sure when you're making a wig, you want to make sure that you're making it when you're not in a rush. Make a wig when you have time. If you have some time, give yourself an hour or two a day, or whenever you have time to do it. I know we have jobs and things of that sort, but just take your time and do not make a wig when you're angry. Do it when you are carefree and when you know you'll have time. And when you do that, your wig comes out very nicely, okay? You don't want to be under stress while making a wig, especially if you're making it for a client. If a client tells you they want a wig and you give them a certain point in time, start on the wig the day they order it. See what I mean? Start on it, especially if you have some type of policy saying, you know, this is when the wig is due, whatever the case is. Start working on it. Don't put yourself under pressure. I just want to get that tip out there because, you know, you don't want to do that. If it's made to order, meaning when someone orders it and they have to wait till you make it, then that's what it is. And that's what mostly my orders are. Once they place the order, I start on the wig. All right, so now we are done. That is the sewing pattern. As you guys see, my stitching skills. You know, I ain't trying to be conceited, but you know. Let me stop. But anyway, so that's what it's looking like there. Okay, I've done a video on this plenty of times, so you guys already know how it is. All right, make sure you have like a little funnel there. I was just showing that part. Okay, now we get into the nitty gritty where we get to the body of the wig, meaning the whole part of the wig. So I have T-pins again. The T-pins are good for me to stay organized, okay, and to keep everything organized basically. All right, now we're going through the band again. Not through the band, I'm sorry, through the cloth part of the band, if you will. Okay, as you guys can see, the cloth part is lifting up. You can't really see it. I apologize about that, but I do have videos, a lot of videos on this to show you specifically. But yeah, that's basically about that. But when I sew through, when I do the first sewing through, I sew through the weft probably like once, like twice, probably twice the most. Okay, but since these are thick wefts, I do not do this throughout the whole sewing of the track because the wefts are thick. Because this is supposed to be, you know, virgin, unprocessed, you know, real hair. So I go under and over, okay? And that's what a lot of people do. But to start off, I sew through the weft just to make sure and ensure that the track does not slip. Okay, so I highly recommend that as well. When you first start off the wig, when you're sewing, you want to sew through the weft. I know it could be a little bit hard because the wefts are thick, but do that. But a lot of people sew through the weft all the way through. Kudos to y'all, but that's a hard job to do, because especially if the wefts are thick, it's just really hard to get through, and then your fingers will get sore and stuff like that. So I just do the under and over method, and things of that sort. I do not double my tracks because the wefts are already thick anyway, and it's very full when they send it to you. And I have three bundles, so you don't have to double up unless you really have to. If you have like 4 bundles, then double the weft if you will, but it's really up to your preference, depending on how full you want it or how, you know, less full you want it, or whatever the case is. So that's basically about that. The rest is basically self-explanatory. I do have plenty of videos on how I make a wig, but I always like to show you guys how I make certain wigs. So that's just basically about that. And sorry about this long time coming of a wig, but yeah. Oh, okay, so we're gonna go over. So when I'm doing this part here, I do not cut the wefts. I only cut the wefts when I get towards the top part of the wig, because that's when the closing of the wig comes along. Okay, so I just fold over. So I do the fold over method up until I get towards the tippy top or around the top area, because you don't want it to be bulky as you're getting to the top. You know what I mean? Especially if you have straight hair, you want to make sure that everything is nice and flat. So that's basically about that. And this is where the harder part comes in, because you have to kind of sew through this, so it's like really thick. But I still sew through that just to ensure the security of the track. Okay, I don't want tracks slipping. I don't want tracks looking loose or whatever the case is. That's just me. I'm very anal with a lot of things. So but it's really up to you. But this is how I make my wigs. Okay, everybody makes their wigs differently, but I just like to show how I do it, and I like to give recommendations and suggestions and things of that sort. And I'm also open to suggestions as well and recommendations, but this is how I do it, and this is what has been working for me. And like I said before, when I first start out, you know, the wig on each side, I always always sew through the weft, and thereafter I go under and over, okay, just to make the process a little bit faster. And also, like I said in the beginning, when you are making wigs, especially if you're making it for someone, a client or whatever the case is, you want the wig process to go faster, please get about 10 or 12 needles so you can have the process go faster with your wig making, because you don't want to be stopping and threading the needle, stopping and threading the needle. That takes a lot of time. So if you have quite a few pre-threaded needles, it will be a faster process. I'm sorry, trust and believe, because it's very fast. Okay, you will get through your wig very, very fast, and you will thank me later. Okay, and I've learned that from a lot of wig makers here on YouTube, and I thought that was one of the smartest ideas ever in wig making. Okay, because you don't want to be there for hours on end, trying to finish a wig when it could have took you less than what you done. Okay, so that's just basically about that. So I may be back, but I just want to go through this a little bit with you guys. If you have any questions, of course, definitely ask me in the comment section below. I'll probably be back, I'm not sure, but yeah, I'll probably be back towards the end. So just enjoy the music and I'll be back. All right, y'all, peace, bye.
I might be broken down, but I'm smiling. I keep my head up high, though I fail. Sometimes I get a bit emotional, but then I turn around and let it go. I see you watching me from a distance. I see you can't decide what to feel, but if you dig a little deeper, boy, you know you really wanna get to know me. Let's get this out of the way. I can't wait another day to tell you you shouldn't wait. Don't be so afraid. Yeah, I'm a bit too much, but I'm fun and games. When I'm acting tough, I just wanna play. If you are looking for one hell of a ride, just come and get it. Baby, I'm all yours. Come and get it, 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 come and get it. If you are looking for one hell of a ride, just come and get it. Baby, I'm all yours. Jump on my roller coaster and hold tight. It won't be easy, but it'll be fun. Sometimes it goes
All right, so here is where I'm going to cut the weft, because I'm towards the top. As you guys know, I always cut the weft towards the top because I don't want it to be bulky. Okay, this is up to your preference. If you don't want to do this and you want to continue the fold over method, go ahead, but I suggest that the fold over method should not be done, especially during this part, because you don't want it to be bulky, especially if you have straight hair that you're working with. Now that you have curly hair or big boofy type hair, you can probably get away with it, but if it's straight hair, you probably want to do this type of method. I apologize for the blurriness, but I basically was doing just some basic sewing. But yeah, so I just basically cut the weft when I started getting to the top, like closer to the closure, and I'm basically doing the same thing. I'm wrapping the hair around, and I'm placing T-pins for organization, and also to keep the track from slipping around. And you want to make sure that the track is straight as you are sewing the track. You don't just, you see what I'm saying, you have to be very organized with this stuff, and you want it to look very professional as you can. I know there are sewing machines out there, so you want to make sure that it kind of looks like it was done with a sewing machine, if you will, but it was done with your hands. Okay, all right, so that's basically it about that, you guys. So that's just basically it. So yeah, so we're at the tippy top, and this is how I'm closing it out. So I am done. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you for waiting so long. I know it's been like a month, and I'm like, but the wig, sorry, and it took me like 20 decades, but I understand, y'all. I apologize. I'm sorry. I hope you accept my apology, but I got a lot going on, so I finally got it out, and here we are. If you want more tutorials, wig tutorials, please hit the thumbs up button, please hit the like button, and I will definitely come back with more. I know you guys like the tutorials, so please, thank you for hanging in there with me. Thank you for all your support. Thank you guys for watching my videos. I really do appreciate all of y'all. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. And that's just basically it about that, y'all. So after this, I'm basically gonna style the hair, and then I'm gonna use the mousse and things of that sort. You can use that, is up to you, it's optional. And that's just basically about that, and then I'm done. So I'll put the information down of the hair in the description bar below to where you can purchase the hair. It's from OMG Queen, and I definitely will put it down in the description bar below. So that's just basically about that. And I also will put other wig related videos down there below that I've done. If you want to know how to bleach a closure, I will put that video down below because I've done a video on that as well. So you could definitely learn from there as well. Okay, so that's just basically it, you guys. All right, thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate you guys. If you have any questions, comments, watching. Peace, bye.